the father of colleague Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gagdi, excuse me, Honorable Sejus, please, we're in session. The father of Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gagdi, Chairman House Committee on Navy and member representing Pangshin, Kanki in Plateau State, died on the 17th of July 2020 in Jos, Plateau State. He has since been buried according to Islamic rites. May his soul rest in peace. So let's stand for 1 minute silence, please. May his soul rest in peace. Honorable colleagues, last Monday, in a dramatic twist at the public hearing NDDC, the Honorable Minister made very weighty allegations on the National Assembly, specifically the House, stating categorically that 60% of NDDC contracts were awarded to members of this House. Last Tuesday, I issued a 48-hour ultimatum to the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs to substantiate his allegation that over 60% of contracts awarded by the Niger Delta Development Commission went to members of the National Assembly. I said then that the Honorable Minister owed it to himself, to NDDC, to the Niger Delta, and to the country to provide evidence to support these very serious allegations. The Honorable Minister has failed to respond to my request. Therefore, I must conclude that his statement intended solely to gaslight the nation to avoid accountability for the evident maladministration and malfeasance in the Niger Delta Development Corporation. In my time in the House of Representatives, I have held every conceivable leadership position, from minority whip to minority leader, to leader of the House, and now the Speaker of the House. I recognize that the House has not always lived up to the high expectations of the Nigerian people. As much as we still have a lot to do in that regard, I refuse to sit here in good conscience and allow anyone to assassinate the character of the House in an attempt to deflect accountability for their conduct in office. Such mendacity, as was witnessed in the public hearing, will not be tolerated from anybody, no matter how highly placed. This morning, I've asked the clerk of the House of Representatives to engage the services of legal counsel and instruct them to initiate a criminal complaint of perjury against the minister. At the same time, we will instruct counsel to explore the possibility of a civil defamation suit against the minister. The House of Representatives is a public trust placed in our care for the duration of our term in office. We must prove ourselves worthy of the public trust or risk the censure of history. Therefore, we will resist every attempt to undermine this institution, whether such attempt comes from within or from outside. This House will live up to the highest expectations of the Nigerian people, and this is our commitment, and we will not fail. Thank you. God bless. Yes, honorable colleagues. The MTF was read on the letter from the President on the delivery of the MTF to the House was read on Tuesday. I referred it to the Committee on Finance, but to the avoidance of doubt, I am reiterating that matter. The MTF is now once again referred to the Committee on Finance. I believe I'm guided by the clerk that it is not something by tradition that we debate on the floor of the House. Any petition? And when?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. I am Henry Walker, and I speak for the enterprising people of Intolu Edu Federal Constituency of Imo State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, before me this morning, I've received a petition from the Imo State chapter of the Niger Delta Youth Movement against alleged 15 million naira COVID-19 palliative fund meant for Imo State youth and intentional deprivation of other rights and privileges by the NDDC against the Imo State youth. With your leave, I seek permission to lay this petition. Thank you.
Any other petition? Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Dr. Yochukwu. I represent an area of Within Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, this is a petition from my constituency who has been untowardly, unlawfully, and irregularly removed.
Please take our seats, please.
Dr. Dominic Ojaba has come to the house to seek redress. So I call on my colleagues and Mr. Speaker to please allow me to lay the petition.
Yes, Honorable, please lay your petition. Any other petition?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairman.
Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Ifeanyi Chukwudi Moma. I represent the people of Idiala Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, petition I have is from one Mr. Awo Sunday Theodore, a 300 level student, who writes a petition against the Inspector General of Police on his unlawful arrest and detention over a murder case. Even when the real culprit has been apprehended, he still remains illegally in detention. If it may please this House, I wish to lay the petition.
You lay your petition. Any other petition? On this row?
Honorable Mukhtar.
Okay, who's that? I'm there. Okay.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Haruna Isadede, and I represent Arairo Federal Constituency. I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have a petition against the office of the Chief of Naval Staff in respect of unauthorized seizure and use of property belonging to Mr. Minor Jack. This petition, Mr. Speaker, has been brought forward through the law firm of Mrs. Emaki Ororo Chambers. I seek your leave and the leave of the House, Mr. Speaker, to lay the petition.
Please go ahead. Any other petition? All right, so we'll move on. Honorable, all matters referred to the Committee of Public Petitions. Honorable Tolu Shadipe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I be allowed to stand on Order 884 to request the suspension of the rule of the House to allow me to present a motion of urgent public importance for parliamentary intervention to eradicate trafficking in persons and the resultant immunization of Nigerians abroad and the repatriation of our stranded citizens.
Seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Jima Ibrahim Olajude. I represent Lagos Maryland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. I stand to second the motion as moved by honorable colleague, Honorable Shadipe. Thank you.
Those of the CI. Let's get the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's a requirement for parliamentary intervention to eradicate trafficking in persons, the resultant dehumanizing treatment of Nigerians abroad, and the repatriation of our stranded citizens. The House knows the unprecedented rise in abuse and dehumanization of Nigerians, even in nations with long history of cordial relations with Nigeria. The current and ongoing studies dehumanizing treatment foisted on Nigerians abroad, particularly trafficked girls under the cover of foreign domestic staff, has become very, very disturbing. According to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTI, in the past 1 year, there has been at least 500 distress calls daily from Nigerian women crying for rescue and a means to return home due to the inhumane conditions they face in various parts of the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Oman, and Lebanon, as well as Mali. With Lebanon, Oman, and Mali being top on the list. Further note that Lebanon has been ranked one of the top 5 countries where young Nigerian girls are deceived out of Nigeria, only to end up in homes and businesses in inhumane circumstances. Thousands of Nigerian girls and women are lured each year to work as domestic workers across the Middle East, with majority suffering physical, mental, and sexual abuse, and no recourse to go back home as their passports are seized upon their arrival in these countries. Many of these girls have gone without pay for months, and some have even lost their lives. Recently, of the 22 returnees, one had left Nigeria as an able-bodied woman, but returned in excruciating pain, wheelchair-bound, unable to walk. Recall the cases of Nigerian girls sold into slavery in Lebanon and Oman. One of such was earlier in the year, Omolola Ajayi, who was put on sale for $1,000 by Wahid Jero, a Lebanese national. Another case is that of Gloria Bright, who was said to have been recruited to teach English language, only for her to return to a domestic servant on arrival in Lebanon. Both Omolola and Gloria were reported to have been drafted out of the country by Mr. Wafik Mohammed Hamzi, a Lebanese national, apprehended for human trafficking by NAPTIP, currently in Kwara State, on trial. Records show that Wafik Hamza was complicit in the trafficking of 16 girls, 10 of which have been repatriated back to Nigeria by IOM, while 6 remain stranded in Lebanon. Hamzi is currently in custody in Ilorin, awaiting trial for trafficking. But it appears that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, under the guise of diplomacy, is working for the release of the sex trafficker without any regard for our citizens' losses or their repatriation back home. The names of the 16 girls are as follows. May I be allowed to list the name or move on? Okay. Further recall, the case of Temitope Ariwolo, age 31, who recently returned to Nigeria after the joint collaboration and intervention of the Diaspora Committee, NAPTIP, and the Diaspora Commission, after being maltreated and falsely accused of attempted murder. Her bloody image circulated on social media in April after a dispute with her employer due to her refusal of her employer's sexual advances and harassment. Temitope was initially prevented from being repatriated back to Nigeria and was charged for attempted murder, but due to the intervention of stakeholders, legislative and executive, and the International Organization for Migration, IOM, who provided legal representative for Temitope and funded her return flight back to Nigeria. Temitope is back home, albeit with a lot of psychological trauma and unpaid wages. Informed that between 2017 and 2018, NAPTIP conducted fact-finding missions to Mali to ascertain the enormity of the problem, and the agency discovered that over 20,000 Nigerian girls were held in tents, working in the most deplorable conditions, subjected to sexual exploitation. All the information gathered was made available to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Justice, Minister of Labour and Employment, and the Nigerian Immigration Service. But to date, nothing has been done about the case, and daily more and more of our young girls are subjected to modern-day slavery, sexual exploitation, and organ harvesting, among other ills. In summary, records state that over 80,000 Nigerian girls are currently held as sex slaves and in forced labor across the world, in countries, continents like Mali and the Middle East. Reveals that the House Committee on Diaspora is resolved to actualize its mandate, embark on a series of investigative measures by initiating an interagency collaboration to energize fight against national embarrassment, the pandemic trafficking of our citizens, and the resultant dehumanizing treatment of Nigerians across the globe. Nothing further that the House Committee on Diaspora, in a bid to find a working solution to tackle the menace of human trafficking and dehumanization conditions of Nigerians abroad by local and international entities, have been holding series of interagency meetings with stakeholders. But regrettably, the Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, whose portfolio is at the center of the whole controversy, has refused to honor the committee's invitation for 5 consecutive times. On each occasion, he was represented by the Permanent Secretary. The Permanent Secretary, who claimed he is new to the ministry and does not understand the working, yet he was responsible for signing an international recruitment license in January 2020. At a time when the 2017 moratorium on international recruiters licenses was still in effect. At one of the sittings, the Permanent Secretary showed total disrespect and contempt for the committee and walked out on the committee. Further note that it is investigation revealed gross incompetence or complicity by the Ministry of Labour and Employment, which played a major role in encouraging human trafficking and deteriorating conditions of trafficked Nigerians globally. These licenses contravene convention, as it enables these recruitment agents to send Nigerian citizens to Lebanon, a country that to date does not have a labour pact with Nigeria. To date, Nigeria has no bilateral labour agreement with any nation, and the standard operating procedure is yet to be signed. Thus, any issuance of national recruiters license is illegal. Further note that the Permanent Secretary and other staff of the ministry have appeared before the committee on several occasions and have given false information under oath. It was discovered that the ministry FIRS, NSITF requirements, and the federal government procurement and service provision requirements. Further note that the ministry compromised the mandatory counseling orientation required before any citizen recruited for foreign employment could be taken abroad. In addition, the ministry allowed the recruitment agents to operate without staff sent abroad, which details their current location, conditions of service, etc. Furthermore, the Ministry of Labour has refused to submit several documents provided by the ministry, investigations with CSC, NAPTIP, Ministry of Justice, and NSITF. Representation mandate the Nigerian police force to act accordingly, arrest and prosecute government officials found to be complicit in issuing international labor recruiters. And finally, mandate the Nigerian police force to arrest and prosecute all agents and persons, Nigerian and foreign, when found to have compromised the freedom of our citizens or are involved in human trafficking. Urge the federal government to empower the Nigerian Immigration Service to stop the travel of persons departing from Nigeria to foreign nations for the purpose of work with countries without labor agreement with Nigeria. Urge the federal government to set up a joint task force to include the Diaspora Commission, NAPTIP, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Immigration, to devise an urgent means of combating human trafficking and funding of our trafficked citizens standard across the globe. I saw move. Thank you.
Seconder. No, not Honorable Jimo. Who's behind Honorable behind Honorable JJ? Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Ibrahim Kunle Olarwaju. I represent the entire people of Moba, Ido, Osi, Lejimiji Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. Mr. Speaker, I wish to second the motion so ably moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Shodipe. God bless you.
I think Honorable Tolu has moved a motion and debated a motion at the same time. So we'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Okay. Honorable Honorable Pray.
Okay. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise under Order H, Rule 4, to move a motion of urgent national importance on the urgent need to urge the federal government to appoint a substantive coordinator for the Presidential Amnesty Program for the Niger Delta region. I so move.
Seconder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Use this one. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Musa Mohammed Pali is my name. Member representing Al-Kaleri Kirfi. I am from Bauchi State. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to move a motion of national importance on the urgent need to appoint a substantive coordinator for the Presidential Amnesty Program for the Niger Delta. The House notes that on Friday, the 25th of June, 2009, the federal government took a decisive step in the nation's avowed commitment to bringing enduring peace, security, stability, and development to the Niger Delta region. Also notes that by that declaration, Nigeria demonstrated an unwavering commitment to evolving a holistic solution to the problems of the Niger Delta with a view to securing the region for growth and development, while also effectively tackling the criminal dimensions to the problem. Also note that the main objective of the Presidential Amnesty Program was to disarm, demobilize, reintegrate armed agitators back into the communities with benefits such as opportunities in education, as well as financial stipend to those who give up their arms. Worried that the Presidential Amnesty Program that has been able to achieve ultimate objectives of reintegrating all agitators as originally envisioned, further notes that the absence of a substantive coordinator for the program is creating a vacuum that makes it difficult for the program to be managed meaningfully, transparently, and brought to a logical end. Concerned that since February 28, 2020, the erstwhile coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Professor Charles Koka Dokobo, was suspended from office by the President. Aware that the suspension of the said coordinator was on the heels of numerous allegations and petitions surrounding the Presidential Amnesty Program, which prompted the National Security Advisor to set up a technical committee to look into the activities of the program. Cognizance that the Presidential Amnesty Program's inability to meet its mandate has culminated in several civil disorders, including the blocking of the East-West Road by agitators at different times. Disturbed that the technical committee was mandated to oversee the program, a development that has in no little way slowed down activities of the amnesty program. Aware that though introduction of disarmament, demobilization, reintegration programs have become common practice in countries emerging from violent conflicts, the most difficult aspect is the successful and long reintegration of former combatants into civil life. Aware also that the prevailing peace in the Niger Delta region is directly proportional to the quantum of crude oil production in our country. Informed that ongoing research projects by international development agencies have identified the amnesty initiatives. If the amnesty initiative fails and fall apart, when neither accompanied by meaningful and durable reintegration nor deep-seated socioeconomic problems that are tackled simultaneously. Further informed that part of recommendations of recent publications of the Niger Delta Dialogue Secretariat, a European Union-funded research project The insecurity in the Niger Delta region is caused by militancy, cultism, sea piracy, communal disputes, kidnapping for ransom, electoral violence, vis-a-vis that could be checked by meaningfully engaging our youths, the youths of the area, with a specific call on the presidential program to live up to its mandate and conclusively reintegrate the ex-agitators. Worried that swiftly following the suspension of the former acting chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Mangu, was the appointment of a successor, acting chairman Mohamed Umar, while the experience of the presidential amnesty program for the Niger Delta region, both under similar circumstances, was treated differently. Regret that ongoing programs of the presidential amnesty program have, as attested by critical stakeholders, suffered huge setback as a consequence of the absence of an acting coordinator. As such,
please hold. I think we will suspend sitting. We will suspend sitting for 2 minutes until we get ourselves together.
Please.
If you are standing, please take your seats.
Bagos, take your seat. Come and take your seat.
Sitting is suspended for the next 2 minutes until we're ready to continue.
Honorable Olajide, take your seat.
Hold on, Honorable Toby. Okay.
Regrets that ongoing programs of the...
We're not ready yet, Honorable Priye. Honorable Priye, we're not ready yet, please. Members, can you take your seats, please? I hope you realize that this session is being covered live. Please, take your seats. Honorable Priye, you may continue.
Regrets that ongoing programs of the presidential amnesty program, as attested by critical stakeholders, suffered huge setbacks as a consequence of the absence of an acting coordinator, and as such negatively impacted on the security situation in the Niger Delta region in no small way. Very informed that youths of the region are gradually resorting to unlawful means of agitation for the development of the region, including militancy, a development that is capable of undermining the peace, security, order, and good governance that thus jeopardizing already gained mileage in institutionalizing an encumbered economy of the nation. Concerned that should there be a fresh outbreak of heightened insecurity in the Niger Delta, the security apparatus of our country will be avoidably stretched beyond measures. Resolves to urge the House Committee on National Security to interface with the relevant agencies of government in ensuring that the substantive coordinator for the Presidential Amnesty Program for the Niger Delta region is urgently appointed in order to douse the already growing tension in the region. Also urge the National Security Advisor to the President and the Chief of Defense Staff, as a matter of urgent national importance, advise the President to appoint a coordinator for the Presidential Amnesty Program for the Niger Delta region with a clear mandate to optimally actualize the objective of the program, thus bringing it to a successful conclusion like other disarmament, demobilization, reintegration programs in other parts of the world. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move.
Honorable Chairman, Women's Affairs. Chairman, Women's Affairs. She's not.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My name is Honorable Taiwo Oluga.
It was Chairman. Okay. Okay, Honorable Taiwo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Taiwo Oluga, member representing the good people of Irewole Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Osun State. I rise this afternoon to second the motion as moved by my honorable colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
I'm going to put a question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Lumelu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shime Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, my motion borders on the alleged sleaze and misappropriation of 100 billion at the Northeast Development Commission. And there is an impression, there is also an information that more are still being perpetrated. So I seek the leave of this House under Order 8, Rule 4 and 7 to mandate our relevant committees to immediately track down the money before it is too late. I so submit.
Any seconder? Anybody from Mushin here? Anybody from Mushin here? Honorable Faleke, please second the motion.
Oh my God. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent the people of Lagos. I'm from Ikeja, and I'm very, very proud to be a Mushin boy. I rise to second the motion, ably moved. Thank you, sir.
Well, honorable colleagues, let me just very quickly say that what transpired yesterday wasn't funny. It's still not funny. But sometimes it's better to make light of situations that are ordinarily not meant to be funny. We'll take that up the back channel on the issue of what happened with the minister yesterday. So, the debate, no, just move your motion. No, put a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shime Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. The House notes that the Northeast Development Commission bill was signed into law in October 2017 by President Muhammadu Buhari to replace other initiatives such as the Presidential Initiative on Northeast and Victim Support Fund, and the Board of Management inaugurated, and the Board of Management was inaugurated in May 2019. Further notes that the Commission was established with a mission of coordinating funds accruing from the Federation account and donor agencies for the purposes of rehabilitating and resettling of victims of insurgency, reconstruction of homes, infrastructural development, and tackling of illiteracy in the northeastern part of the country. Aware that there has been massive displacement of Nigerian citizens in the northeast as a result of the activities of Boko Haram insurgents, where houses, schools, mosques, churches, farmlands, and businesses were destroyed, thereby rendering people homeless and jobless. Further aware that Northeast Development Commission, which was set up to ameliorate the suffering of the people and alleged to be immersed in serious corrupt practices, by the management. Concerned that the corrupt practices include the high-handedness by the managing director over inflation of contracts and awards of non-existent contracts, massive contract splitting, and flagrant disregard for the procurement laws in the award of the contracts. Further concerned that the 100 billion so far disbursed to the Commission by the federal government is said to have vanished under a year without any visible impact on the refugees nor any infrastructural development credited to the name of the Commission in the whole of the Northeast. Worried that there are allegations of how the MD and his close associates diverted the funds meant for the Commission to the purchasing of church properties in highbrow neighborhoods of Abuja, Kaduna, and Maiduguri, to the detriment of the suffering refugees and infrastructural development. Further worried that there are allegations of how also the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management was said to have entered into an unholy deal with the MD of the Commission to illegally withdraw the sum of 5 billion from the account of the Commission to purchase military vehicles without any recourse to the board on acts which completely disregard the country's procurement laws and must be seriously disturbed that though the managing director single-handedly procured all COVID-19 materials and supplies to the tune of 5 billion without an approval from the board, there is said to be another massive corruption scheme on the verge of being implemented in the name of housing scheme without the board's knowledge. Further disturbed that this consistent abuse of procurement laws, if not put in check, may defeat the purpose of the establishment of the Commission, hence the need for an urgent investigation. They have therefore resolved to mandate the House Committee on Finance and Niger Northeast Development Commission to exhaustively investigate these allegations and report back to the House within 8 weeks, as so submit.
All right. For the question, those in support, please say aye. Oh, Northeast, was that about Northeast? Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Goji River Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I fully second this motion, which is manifestly evidence of what we are having in terms of malfeasance. We need a new name for corruption in this country. I so second.
All right, we just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Bamishile. Honorable Bamishile. Okay. Honorable Kiru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Kiru Kauye Jocha. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Munoj Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rely on order 8 through 4 to bring matter of urgent public importance on the need to investigate the remote causes of police invasion of the former acting managing director of NDDC, Dr. Joy Nunes resident, on Friday, 18th July 2020. I so move, and I urge that we suspend our relevant rules to take it urgently. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Victor Onwakulo, please second.
Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I remain Honorable Victor Nwokolo, member representing Ika North East, Ika South Federal Constituency of Delta State. I do rise to second the motion heavily moved by the Deputy Whip. I so second.
Leader, you want to move your motion, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Kiruka Onyejocha. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. The House knows that the former acting managing director of the Interim Management Committee, IMC, of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Joy Nune, was called as witness to testify before the House of Representatives Committee on Thursday, July 16th, 2020, pursuant to Section 88 and 89 of the 1999 Constitution and Section 2 of Legislative House Powers and Privileges, Act 2017. The House further notes that the sudden invasion of her residence by heavily armed men dressed in police uniform at the early hours of the morning of 16th July 2020 without prior invitation. This amounts to excessive use of force in the circumstance. The House is aware that Dr. Joy Nune is a trained lawyer with over 30 years experience in active practice. She's a mother, and she's the managing partner of Nune and Nune, a law firm she co-partnered with her father, the first lawyer in Ogodi land, who by this status knows the implication of police invitation that was not served before invading her residence. The House is worried that the intention of the personnel of the police invading Dr. Joy Nune's residence need to be investigated, as they have failed to apply international best practices, as well as the Professional Act and the crude display of force. The House notes that the Police Act 2018, Part 5, Clause 33, notification of clause of arrest and right of suspect to be informed of the cause or need for arrest through an invitation which was not adhered to. The House is cognizant of the fact that it was alleged that the purported arrest was an attempt by the police to sabotage the course of investigation. This was to prevent her from traveling from Port Harcourt to Abuja to testify before the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC. The House is concerned as an institution of government, when matters are before both houses of National Assembly, every organ of government should allow legislative action to be completed.
Silence, please. Honorable Ihembe, come and sit. Honorable Ihembe.
Let me take that. The House is concerned that as an institution of government, when matters are before both houses of National Assembly, every organ of government should allow legislative action to be completed without undue interference, as it amounts to an abuse of the legislative processes in our country. The House is also concerned that there is an urgent need to ascertain the reason for the invasion of Dr. Joy Nune's residence, and from whom and where the instruction for the arrest.
Yes.
The House resolves to mandate the House Committee on Police Affairs to investigate the reason for the invasion and report back to the House within 2 weeks. I so move.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimili Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Deputy House Whip. I so second, Mr. Speaker. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we'll put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Is Honorable Musa here? Fali. Okay, very quickly move your motion and then we'll move. That will be the last for today.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to present my motion. Musa Mohammed Fali is my name, member representing Al-Galeri Kirfi. I am from Bauchi State. I have a motion urgent need to investigate the assault of Nigerian students by College of Administration in India. Note that the two Nigerian students were seriously beaten up by the 8 people rocking Institution of Technology, RIT, on the 5th July 2020. Worry that the students were beaten up by a mob called...
Honorable Ben Kalu. Is Ben Kalu here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just don't go out yet.
Worried that the two Nigerian students were seriously beaten up by 8 people in Rocket Institute of Technology, RIT, on the 15th July 2020. Worried that the students were beaten up by the mob called by the administrator of the school after a disagreement with payment for food at the college canteen. Disturbed that the student problem started after they could not pay for their food in the school canteen and sound permission from the administrator to go out and eat at their friend's house, but the administrator refused to grant them permission. Further disturbed that the student only went to eat their friend's place and often returned. The college administration called the school security and other people to beat them up. Concerned that the students have been hospitalized and the Indian police has arrested 8 people and the school security guards in relation to the assault which not been circulating on social media. Result, mandated the chairman of the Nigerian and Diaspora Commission to urgently investigate the remote cause of the Nigerian student in India, knows their presented health condition in hospital, and report to the House in 2 weeks. Urge the leadership of the House to confront the Indian High Commissioner immediately. Urge the Minister of Foreign Affairs to send a strong message to his Indian counterpart, conveying the Nigerian government disappointment. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, Arushatima.
Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable colleagues, Lawan Shetima Ali, representing Bursari, Gaidam Inusari Federal Constituency, I'm from Yobe State, sir. I raise to second the motion, ably moved by Honorable Musa Pali. I so second, sir.
Okay, in the interest of time, that's actually a very important motion. It's been seconded. It's already read out. Let me just put the question. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. What are we then? That was supposed to be the last motion of urgent public importance. What you're going to do, you're not going to read out the body of your motion. Just read the title, and then we read the prayers, and we put the question. Yours is about public procurement. It's very straightforward, about filling a vacancy in public procurement. Go ahead, read the title.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafu Noruwanam Federal Constituency in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to present matter of urgent public importance, and it's a call on the federal government to immediately set up the National Council on Public Procurement. The House away that the National Assembly passed into law. Just one paragraph, just one paragraph, just one paragraph. The House away that the National Assembly passed into law Public Procurement Act in 2004, Cap P44, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, with commencement in 2007 and several amendments thereafter, and the latest amendment being promulgated by the Nigerian President on May 22, 2019, to take effect on May 24, 2019, with accompanying amendment. Okay, let me go to the prayers. Prayers of the motion. Mandate the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, set up the National Council on Public Procurement to actively coordinate the activities of the Bureau of Public Procurement and give full effect to the act. 2, mandate the federal government to immediately dissolve the existing composition of Bureau of Public Procurement as it was not properly constituted, and then mandate the House Committee on Public Procurement to liaise with the federal government to ensure compliance and report to the House within 2 weeks. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I so move. Very long motion.
Who's going to second the Honorable Bagos?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Dachu Musa Bagos, representing the good, great people of Jos South, Jos East Federal Constituency. I'm from the peaceful state of Plateau. I rise to second this very important motion being raised by Honorable Edem. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, I have just been notified and served. The clerk just brought to me, and we have just received the reply from the Minister of Niger Delta. And I will read his reply. Some Niger Delta Development Commission contracts allegedly given to some members of the National Assembly, Senate, and House of Representatives. And I want us to listen very carefully to his reply. May I extend to Mr. Speaker the compliments of my office and those of the staff of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs. I refer to the resolution of the House passed on the 21st of July 2020 and forwarded to me on the same day, directing me to respond to the contents therein within 48 hours. I hereby respond as follows. The investigating committee on NDDC refused and or neglected to give me the opportunity to explain that reference to most NDDC contracts yearly being awarded since 2001 from the records allegedly to members of the National Assembly in both chambers were done without the knowledge of the alleged beneficiaries, whatever that means. However, the two chairmen of the committees of both chambers had adequate knowledge. Once again, he's referring to two people. I never referred to members of the 9th National Assembly as beneficiaries of NDDC contracts. Please, can we be quiet? I never referred, again, let me repeat. I never referred to members of the 9th National Assembly as beneficiaries of NDDC contracts. As NDDC contracts, or as NDDC is yet to fully implement any NDDC budget since the commencement of the 9th National Assembly. In fact, the 2019 budget passed in February and harmonized between the 4th and 5th of March 2020 was received by the Commission in the middle of April 2020, when same was designated to expire on the 31st of May 2020. However, it is pertinent to point out that the clerk of the National Assembly forwarded a letter reference now CNA 115 volume 381175 dated 20th of March 2020 without attaching the budget details, indicating that the 2020 budget of the NDDC passed into law was being forwarded. Copy of the letter is attached. This anomaly was brought to the attention of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating a purported financial recklessness by the management of the Commission in July 2020 through the first outcry. Though the first outcry was on allegation of missing 40 billion, that has nothing to do with what I asked for. So, 4, it has always been known that the two chairmen of the committees on NDDC in both chambers yearly exhibit unusual influence to the exclusion of committee members and even the management of the NDDC in appropriating funds to details embellished in the budget after passage of line items at the plenaries. Allegation. In the 2019 budget, the Executive Director of Projects forwarded to me the attached list of 19 old contracts, old contracts amounting to almost 9 billion after tax that the House of Representatives Committee Chairman on NDDC, Honorable Tunji Ojo insisted the IMC of the NDDC must pay before 2019 budget details could be released to the Commission Annex A1. Now that paragraph, so that we understand it very well, is alleging, without proof, that the chairman forwarded a list of old contracts which required payment. Let me be clear. The chairman NDDC only became a member of this house in June last year and only became the chairman of the committee in September, October. So what he's saying now, he's not saying that he gave the chairman contracts. He's just saying the chairman, perhaps, who knows, asked him to pay for some contracts that had already been executed. It's got neither here nor there. To show you some typical examples herewith attached are documents showing contracts or amount of contracts that were paid by the chairman or were asked to be paid by the chairman of both committees. The above explanation would have been made before now. May I assure Mr. Speaker that as a former minority leader of the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I shall forever promote the ideals of the National Assembly as an institution. Hence, I would not make the attached documents public, since I obtained the documents from the lead forensic auditors in confidence. Permit me to explain that any reference to, this is important, permit me to explain that any reference to 50 or 60% during the investigative hearing was in answer to a question by a member of the committee as to whether or not a medical director could act as executive director of projects within the confines of the NDDC Act 2000. I answered in the affirmative, pointing out that the greatest project in the world today is COVID-19 pandemic, which is medical in nature. Furthermore, I am made to understand that 50 to 60% of NDDC yearly budgets are medical in nature. Therefore, it is fitting for a medical doctor to act as executive director of projects in those trying times. Now, I think the Honorable Minister has walked back his statement. So what he's saying here is that the 60% he was talking about was as to the nature of projects of NDDC, not 60% as to contracts awarded to, or projects awarded to members. The last paragraph says, please accept, sir, the assurance of my esteemed regards and do pass my explanation to my colleagues in the 9th Assembly who probably misunderstood my assertion. I'm not passing it to the 9th Assembly. I'm passing the so-called misunderstanding to the whole world. The Honorable Minister is saying here that he never said what we thought he said. I knew when I made bold that statement for him to come up with proof of his allegation that there was no way and no how that was going to happen, because no such thing happens here. And his letter has confirmed it. He has pointed fingers to the chairman of the committee here in the House and in the Senate. But in pointing those fingers, again, he has said, on the one hand, the chairman was not a member of this House at the time, and all he has said about the chairman is that he asked him to pay some people who had old contracts outstanding. He never said that even the chairman is not alleging got contracts. So I will pass this on to the Committee on Ethics and Privilege. If there anything here needs to be further examined, I'm glad we put this to rest. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 19 bills. I now invite the clerk to read the short titles.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act repeal and Enactment Bill 2020, first reading. National Hydrographic Agency Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Coastal and Inland Shipping Cabotage Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Armed Forces Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Act Alteration Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2020, first reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Criminal Code Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. First Safety Education Inclusion in School Curriculum Bill 2020, first reading. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Federal College of Forestry Maiduguri, Borno State Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Nigeria National Hero Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Epidemiologist General of the Federation of Nigeria, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Nigerian Street Trading Regulatory Commission, etc. Establishment, etc. Bill 2020, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2020, first reading. Legal Aid Act Amendment Bill 2020, first reading. Nigeria Incentive-Based Risk-Sharing System for Agricultural Lending, NASA Bill 2020, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of report of the ad hoc committee on the increasing incident.
Honorable Unoli, take your seat. Order, please.
Second business of the day is presentation of report of the ad hoc committee on the increasing incidents of the slim swap fraud. Standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Hassan Fulata, honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the ad hoc committee on Thursday, 25th July 2019. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Fulata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I represent Borneo, Krikasama, Gudi Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee on SIM swap fraud as it is ready. I so move.
Second up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Amin Ashuruk Mani is my name, representing Bindawa Mani. I am from Katsina State. I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by Chairman of Rules and Business, and I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Fulata, please lay the report. Third business of the day is presentation of report on the interim report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the amount of unspent ministries, department and agencies, project funds, and unspent constituency project funds not remitted in the last 10 years, standing in the name of Honorable Francis Charles Udiok. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the ad hoc committee on Wednesday, 10th December 2019. The interim report is ready for presentation.
Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, my name is Francis Charles Udiok. I represent Ikora Basin Eastern Obolo Federal Constituency. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the motion that the House will receive the interim report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the amount of unspent ministry, departments, agency, MDAs, and project funds, and unspent constituency project funds not remitted in the last 10 years. I so move.
Any seconder to Honorable Francis, Honorable Maki?
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I remain Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Madamuduru Kaugama Federal Constituency. I stand to support the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague, Honorable Francis, to lay his report. I so move. Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Fourth business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Commerce, Industry, and Information. Really? National Orientation, Ethics, and Privilege on the need to investigate influx of fake, substandard, and counterfeit products into Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Femi Fakeye. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 11th of March 2020. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Fakeye.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Femi Fakeye. I represent Ifedayo, Boluwadua in Life Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committees on Commerce, Industry, and Information, National Orientation, and Ethics and Values on the need to investigate the influx of fake, substandard, and counterfeit products in Nigeria. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Adebu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Odebo Mishegun is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Ogula Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Fakeye. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable members, the fifth business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Niger Delta Development Commission on the need to investigate the alleged financial malfeasance and other activities in the Niger Delta Development Commission, standing in the name of Honorable Olubumitunji Ojo. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 5th May 2020. Report is now ready for presentation. Honorable Ojo, please present your report.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Ojo is not on the floor. I move that the presentation of the report be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move.
Sorry, what was that?
Mr. Speaker, I said Honorable Ojo is not on the floor. I move that the presentation of the report be stepped down by the leader of the House.
Okay. Ojo, step down. The sixth order of the day is presentation of two reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Jerry Alagbaso is invited to present the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My colleagues, my name is Jerry Alagbaso. I'm from Imo State, representing also Ifere constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to present two reports. One, the House do receive the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Dr. Napoleon S. JP against the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, a call to function as the Director CEO of Nigerian Institute for Oil Palm Research, Benin. Two, the House do receive the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Kiola James Akombi against Nigeria Immigration Service on appeal to investigate a case of suspension based on a fraud by the Nigeria Immigration Service and First Bank PLC after his unlawful disengagement from service by the authority. Mr. Speaker, I hereby present.
Honorable Abejide, please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is my name, representing the good people of Yaguavera constituency. I'm from Kogi State. I rise to second that the report, as moved by the ranking by age, to be accepted. As a second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Alagbaso, please lay your report. Seventh business of the day is presentation of report on the ad hoc committee on the need to investigate the arbitrary breach of presidential directives on the suspension of top management and executive committee members of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund and other government agencies by ministers standing in the name of Honorable Mariam Onoha. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 7th of July, 2020. Report is ready for presentation, Honorable Mariam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise this morning to move that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee on the need to investigate the arbitrary breach of presidential directives on the suspension of top management and executive committee members of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, and other government agencies by ministers, and approve the recommendations therein. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
Honorable Ifeanyi, what's your point of order?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name remains Honorable Barrister Ifeanyi Chudimoma. I represent the people of Ihiala, Federal Constituency area of Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise under Order 17, Rule 3, Sub-Rule 1E, specifically page 89 of our standing orders. And with your permission, I would like to read it, Mr. Speaker. It says here, every member shall be permitted to indicate in a report that he or she dissents with a particular recommendation or comment within the report the committee shall permit a member to express the reasons for such dissent. Mr. Speaker, I thank God that this house is the house of the Nigerian people that has been presided by you in the last 1 year round. And every process that must be dispensed here must be in accordance with fairness, equity, and natural justice. I, Ifeanyi Chudimoma, I'm a member of the ad hoc committee. And Mr. Speaker, it was this morning that I heard that the report will be submitted. I've discussed with the chairman of the subcommittee and the deputy chairman of the ad hoc committee rather, and the deputy chairman as well. And I just feel, Mr. Speaker, that my privilege that I should enjoy as someone who has an observation or a recommendation that doesn't fit in with the rules of natural justice, that I should have indicated, I should have been given the opportunity to indicate it in the report. So, Mr. Speaker, I crave the indulgence of this House, if it may please you and this Honorable House, to suspend the presentation of this report to enable me to fully exercise my rights and privileges as enshrined under this order. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Ifeanyi, your point is well taken. I believe that's probably why the report has not been presented. It was meant to be late today, presented today. I believe that's why it has not been presented. But please, very carefully note the rule that you have referred to. It does not say, and I don't know that if that's what you're saying, it does not allow for a dissenting report. It does not say you have an opportunity to dissent to a report. It actually only allows you to dissent to a particular recommendation or a particular comment, not the whole report, whatever that report is, I don't know. So, but yes, you are absolutely in order. You must be given an opportunity. If there is anything in particular, or any comment that you object to or you dissent, just indicate the fact that you are dissenting to that. It does not mean that it will be expunged. It just allows you to indicate that you're against it before it comes. So, point of order sustained. Should I? Honorable Ifeanyi, please, can you approach the chair? Chairman, Business and Rules.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the House that there was a mishap in respect of Honorable Ifanyi's point of order, as a result of which there was a mix-up, and therefore I want to move that the House do rescind its decision on stepping down on Ojo's report. So I move,
Observation, sir.
I move that the House do rescind its decision on the submission of the report by Honorable Tunji Ojo, and now call upon him to submit his report. I so move.
Okay, so Honorable Ifeanyi raised a point of order saying that he was not allowed to dissent in a particular comment in the report. I thought he was talking about the NDDC report, of which I know he's a member of that committee, and we agreed to step it down. It has now come to my understanding that that was not the report Honorable Ifeanyi was talking about. Apparently, Honorable Ifeanyi is a member of also the NSITF report laid by Princess Onoha, and that's the one he was referring to. Is that correct? Okay, so you have moved now that we rescind the resolution to step down the NDDC report, since that was not the one he was talking about. Yes, you've moved. That's what I'm saying. You have moved. So we will rescind that.
Observation, sir.
Any second that. One second. Let's rescind this one first. Any second, Honorable Odebumi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague, Odebo Musekun is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business. I so second.
Okay, so the question is that we received the resolution that, to step down the NDDC report, which was based on a misunderstanding of Honorable Ifeanyi's point of order, and that we rescind that resolution and take the NDDC report. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Maki.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I remain Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my own observation against the point of order Mr. Ifeanyi raised. I am among the members of that ad hoc committee. We are 16 in number. 15 of us, we all agree unanimously. We agree with the recommendation, and we all signed together with the chairman of that ad hoc committee. I can even show it to you. Only him that didn't sign, and 15 of us will sign. So in such, sir, I want us to urge the whole House to agree that we lay this report before the written. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we're now, Honorable Ifeanyi, we're now looking at your point of order, not as it relates to the NDDC report, but as it relates to the NSITF report. So we're taking it all over again. And Honorable Maki has just raised an observation that there are 16 members of that ad hoc committee. 15 of them signed the report, except you. But my ruling is, yes, I see that, the clear majority. But the point is that the point of order raised, or the rule pointed out by Honorable Ifeanyi, doesn't matter if all of you or 99% of you signed. He still has a right, and it's a privilege, a right by our rules, to dissent to a particular. Now, so that we do not waste legislative time, Honorable Ifeanyi, what I will suggest is, rather than step that down, why don't you confer now, because it's just a particular comment or whatever it is, you confer with the chairman of the other committee, Princess, confer with her now, and just address whatever it is that you dissent. Let her know so that she can notify us.
Mr. Speaker, where is it? Number what?
The eighth business of the day is presentation of report of the Committees on Public Affairs, Drugs and Narcotics, and Human Rights on the need to save the lives of people of Aba South local government area from killings, further ransacking, restriction of movement, and attacks by joint police team from Indagoro and Cameroon Road police station, standing in the name of Honorable Bello Usman Kumo. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 10th October 2019. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Kumo, before you present your report, can we allow Honorable Ojo to lay his Honorable Ojo, please lay your report quickly before we go to Honorable Kumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Lubumi Tunjojo, that the House do receive the report of the Committee on the Niger Delta Development Commission on the need to investigate the alleged financial malfeasance and other activities in the Niger Delta Development Commission. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Who is going to second? Is that Ben Igbakwa? No. Ben? Yes. Honorable Stanley, please approach the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Ben Roland Igbakwa. I represent Ethiop East, Ethiop West. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second a motion as moved by the chairman, House Committee on NDDC, to receive the report. I beg to second.
Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Please lay the report. Honorable Princess Miriam, is it sorted? Okay, please lay the report.
Not seconded.
The eighth, Honorable Kumo, please.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Usman Bello Kumo is my name, member representing Akko Federal Constituency. I'm from Gombe State. I have to move that the House do receive the report of the Committees of Police Affairs, Drugs and Narcotics, and Human Rights on the need to serve the lives of people of Abia South from killings, further ransacking, restriction of movement and attack by joint police teams from Indigro and Cameroon Road Police Station. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, highly respected colleagues, My name is Rep. Otumba Adeumi Oriyomi Ononuga. I represent the fabulous United People of Ikene, Shagamu Remo North. I am from Ogun State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Como. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. First order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 21st July 2020. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third time. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krikasama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria and for related matters, HB 353, be read the third time. I so move.
Second, Honorable Woodil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Mohamed Ali Woodil. I rise to second the motion assembly moved by Honorable Plata. I so second.
Thank you, Honorable Woodil. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. And I invite the clerk to read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Second order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish the Abuja Geographical Information Systems Agency and for related matters. Honorable members recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Tuesday, 21st July 2020. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read a third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krikasama, Guri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to establish the Abuja Geographic Information Systems Agency and for related matters, HB 215, be read the third time. I so move.
Honorable Woodil, again.
Thank you very much, Speaker. My name is Honorable Engineer Woodil. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Platt. I so second.
Is Honorable Victor Wokolo here? Just read. Okay, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Abuja Geographic Information Systems Agency and related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Third order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 21st July 2020. I therefore call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be read a third time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Santulata. I represent Berniwa Kirikasama Aguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for related matters, HB 527, be read the third time. I so move.
Chairman, Foreign Affairs.
I represent Gombe Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. I rise to second that the bill be read the third time. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for the establishment of the Federal University of Technology, Auchi, Edo State, and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2004 and enact the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Bill 2020 and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House and read the first time on Thursday, 23rd July 2020, and I invite the Leader to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Abubakar Samflata. I represent Berniwa Kirikasama Aguri Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that a bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2004 and enact the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and for related matters, HB 1031. I so move.
Honorable Mansour Soros, good to see you. Can you second this bill?
Right, Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, my name is Mansour Soro, member representing Dar Benja, Federal Constituency. I rise to second that a bill for an act to repeal the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2004 and enact the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and for related matters be read the second time. I so second.
Honorable colleagues, this is a bill concerning banking. I deliberately picked on Honorable Mansour to second it because he's versed in banking and sundry matters. And since he has seconded it, I think we should just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Is commencement of the... Oh. Yes. Clerk. It is really long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to repeal the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2004 and enact the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 and for related matters. Second reading.
Refer to Committee of the Whole. Fifth order of the day is a commencement of debate of the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the National Agency for the Control of Cancer and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Kolawole Lawal. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 13 February 2020. I now invite Honorable Lawal to move that the bill be now read a second time. Honorable Lawal.
I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Kolawole Lawal, representing the Bado South Ipukia Federal Constituency. I'm from Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that a bill of an act to establish national agency for the control of cancer and for related matters be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Aisha Duku, Chairman, Electoral Matters, please, can you second?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and highly respected colleagues. I'm Honorable Aisha Jibril Duku, Gimbier Duku, member representing Dukuna Fada Federal Constituency. I come from Gombe State. I rise to second the bill for its movement for the second time. I so move. I so second. Thank you.
This is an establishment bill. I'll just put the... Does anybody want to speak against this bill? For the question. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to establish National Agency for the Control of Cancer and for related matters, second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Health Institutions. Sixth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center, or GOJA, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Jarigbe. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 24th July 2019. Wow, this bill is going to be a year old tomorrow. Today is the 23rd. Okay, this bill was read for the first time on Thursday, 24th July 2019, and I invite Honorable Jarigwe to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Jarigbe Agam Jarigbe, I represent the good people of Ogoja Yala Federal Constituency. I'm from Cross River State. I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center Ogoja and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Honorable Nolly, do you want to have the privilege of seconding a bill that has been in the legislative process for 1 year?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Nolem Naji. I represent in Kano East West Federal Constituency. I'm from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that the bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, Ogoja, be read for second time. I so second.
Okay, let me put the question again. It's also an establishment bill. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center of Goja and for related matters, second reading.
Your time is off, Honorable Japar.
Clerk, have you read the long title? Have we put the question where? You've read the title? Okay. Okay, so the matter is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions. Seventh order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the National Park Service Act Cap N65 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and to enact the National Park Service Act National Park Service Act establish the National Park to be responsible for the presentation, enhancement, and protection of wild animals, plants, and other vegetation in national parks, and promote ecotourism through public-private and partnerships, and for related matters, stand in the name of Honorable Johnson Oguma, Honorable Obidigwe Chinedu. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 29th of October 2019, and I invite Honorable Oguma to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and my respected colleagues. I am Honorable Johnson Egwahide Oguma. I represent all the people of this federal constituency. I am from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move for a bill for an act to repeal National Park Service Act, Cap N65, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Park Service Bill, establish the National Park to be responsible for the presentation, enhancement, and protection of wild animals, plants, and other vegetation in national parks, and promote ecotourism through public-private partnerships, and for related matters. Be read second time. As Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Yemi Ali.
Thank you, Mr.
Please let us know your constituency.
I'm happily representing the people of Motion 1 for constituency in Lagos. Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry?
Very soon, sir, Mr. Speaker, I will respond to the claim that they wanted to, the Honourable Minister wanted to export someone from another area to my constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my honourable colleague, Honourable Johnson from Edo State. I so second. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in support that this bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Bill, Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the National Park Service Act, Chapter N65, laws for the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and now the National Park Service Bill, establish the National Park to be responsible for the presentation, enhancement, and protection of wild animals, plants, and other vegetation in national parks, and promote ecotourism through public-private partnership, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Culture and Tourism. The eighth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Federal Polytechnic Garko Kano State that shall provide full-time courses in technology, social sciences, applied science, management, and other fields of studies, and to make provisions for the general administration of the Polytechnic, and for related matters, stand in the name of Honorable Mohammed Ali Wudil. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 17th March 2020, and I invite Honorable Wudil to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. As usual, my name is Right Honorable Engineer Muhammad Ali Wudil. I represent the good and bad people of Wudil Garko Federal Constituency, the Speaker for Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the bill for an act to establish a federal polytechnic GERCO, Kano State, that should provide full-time courses in technology, social sciences, applied sciences, management, and other fields of studies, and make a provision for the general administration of the polytechnic and for related matters be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any member from VI? Is Honorable Benson here? Honorable Raji?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Wale Raji. I represent the good people of a federal constituency of Lagos State. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my brother from Wudi. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Federal Polytechnic GOKO, Kano State, that shall provide full-time courses in technologies, social sciences, applied science, management, and other fields of studies, and to make provision for the general administration of the Polytechnic and related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Tertiary Education. Your Honourable colleagues, the bill moved by Honourable Johnson was passed in the previous assembly, and so it will be going to the Committee of the Whole. Referred to that bill is referred to the Committee of the Whole. Honourable colleagues, the ninth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide the establishment of management of a national innovation agency for the facilitation of development, improvement, promotion, coordination, exploitation, commercialization, and regulation of research outputs, discoveries, innovations, and inventions, to entrench research and innovation in the economic system and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Emeka Azubugo. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 2nd July 2020, and I invite Honorable Azubugo to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues. I am Honorable Chris Emeka Azubog. I represent Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and the Okusigo Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion for the second reading of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of National Innovation Agency for the facilitation of development, improvement, promotion, coordination, exploitation, commercialization and regulation of research outputs and discoveries, innovations and inventions to interest research and innovation in the ecosystem and for related matters. I so move.
Honorable Jagger.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I'm Mohamed Umar Jaga, representing Alero Gondu Jaga Federal Constituency. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in support of the bill read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, please read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment and management of a national innovation agency for the facilitation of development, improvement, promotion, coordination, exploitation, commercialization, and regulation of research outputs, discoveries, innovation and inventions to maintain research and innovation in the economic system, and for later matters, second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Science and Technology. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal College of Fisheries in Taraba State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Shiri Danjuma. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 14th July 2020, and now invite Honorable Danjuma to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Danjuma Shidi. I represent Ukari Ibi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to present a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Fisheries, Ibi Taraba State, and other related matters. To be allowed to read for a second time. As a so present, sir.
Chairman, Business and Rules. Any seconder? Who's that? Second.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I am Honorable Mohamed Omar Bios. I rise to second the motion ably being moved by Honorable Shidi Osman. I represent Barkenka and Federal Constituency from Kwara State.
Okay, so those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, long title, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for establishment of Federal College of Fisheries, EB, Taraba State, and for later matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions. And because the 11th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the National Agency for honorable colleagues, I'm constrained to talk about all these establishment bills that we keep bringing. I guess when we come back in September, we have to streamline. This is a very good one, but generally we have to streamline the establishment bills. Apart from the fact that they require funding, we're looking to shrink the size of government at the top, and we keep bringing all these establishment bills. We're going to be looking at them, chairman business, very critically come September. This is food technology is actually a good one. Standing in the name of Honorable Chinedu Oga, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 20 February 2020, and I invite Honorable Oga to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Comrade Chinedu Oga Owen. I represent South Ipo Federal Constituency. I stand to move a motion that a bill for establishment of National Agency for Food Technology Development Agency and for related matters should be read for second reading. I hereby move.
Honorable Luke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Onofiok Luke, I speak for the people of, I represent the people of Etinan, Salibom Surubia Federal Constituency. I speak for the interest of Nigeria. I second this motion, ably moved by my brother, Honorable Chinedu Oga, for the second reading of the bill, sir. I so second.
Okay, let's go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this bill be read a second time, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk, just read the wrong title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the National Meteorological Training Institute, Shagamu, Ogun State, to provide training, information, supervision, guidance and advice to students, researchers, and personnel in iron and steel, and oil and gas industries for national development and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the Committee on Healthcare Services. The 12th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the National Meteorological Training Institute, Shagamu, Ogun State, to provide training, information, supervision, guidance, and advice to students, researchers, and personnel in iron and steel and oil and gas industries by national development and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Adeomi Onanuga, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 21st November 2019, and I invite Honorable Onanuga to move that the bill read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, highly respected colleagues, my name is Rep. Adeomi Oriyomi Onanuga. I represent the fabulous United People of Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North. I am from Ogun State. I rise to move a motion that a bill for an act to establish the National Meteorological Training Institute, Shagamu, Ogun State, to provide training, information, supervision, guidance and advice to students, researchers, and personnel in iron and steel and oil and gas industries for national development and for related matters be read a second time. I so move.
Honorable Duku.
I'm Honorable Aisha Jibril Duku, Yimbier Duku. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my sister that the bill be read the second time. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for now to establish National Meteorological Training Institute, Shagamu, Ogun State, provide training, information, supervision, guidance, and advice to students, researchers, and personnel in iron and steel, and oil and gas industries for national development and for related matters. Second reading.
Okay, bill referred to the committee on steel. 13th order of the day is commencement of a debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps Trust Fund and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Sulaiman Abubakar Gumi. Our members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 9th October 2019, and now invite Honorable Gumi to move that the bill read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Engineer Suleiman Abubakar Gumi, representing the good people of Gumi, Bukuyum Federal Constituency. I rise to present a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Trust Fund and other related matters, with the short title Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Trust Fund Establishment Bill, to be read for the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Osby, can you second?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Bono Zubo. I represent the good people of Umkwere, Wangele, Su, and Ngaba Federal Constituency. I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the bill as moved by my colleague. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Does anybody wants to speak against the bill? Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Trust Fund and for related matters. Second reading.
Refer to Committee of Interior. 14th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshots. Did we not have this? Honorable Raji, did you not bring this up at one time? Or who was it? Don't we have this bill in the system? Oh, it's an amendment? Oh, okay. 14th order of the day is the commencement of the debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to amend the compulsory treatment and care for victims of gunshots Act to expand and bring the long title in conformity with the actual intent of the bill, provide stiff punitive measures to checkmate violations, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Tasir Olale Raji. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, February 2020, and I invite Honorable Raji to read the bill for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Wale Raji. I represent the good people of a federal constituency of Lagos State. I rise to move a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshots Act to expand and bring the long title in conformity with the actual intentment of the bill, provide stiff punitive measure to checkmate violations and for related matters be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Deputy Whip, please can you second on the Raj's bill? It's a humanitarian bill.
Is my name. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Muluj Federal Constituency. I'm from Abia State. I rise to second the amendment of the compulsory treatment of gunshot wounds. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshots Act to expand and bring the long title in conformity with the actual intendment of the bill provides
I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish a national electronic health record system for the storage and access of electronic health records in Nigeria and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, my name is Rep. Adewumi Oliomi Ononiga. I represent the fabulous United People of Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North. I am from Ogun State, and I rise to second the motion that Honorable Agusoye's bill be read a second time. I so second.
Is anybody interested in speaking against Honorable Agusoye's bill? Are you sure, Honorable Oganel? Please look at it very well. Does anybody here want to speak against Honorable Agusoye's bill? Those in support, Honorable Abanta has started. Let me quickly put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Please read the long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish a national electric health record system for the storage and access of electronic health records in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Healthcare Services. 16th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture in Anambra State, Oba or family in Anambra State, and for related matters Standing in the name of Honorable Chinedu Sam Onwaso, honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 17th March 2020, and I invite Honorable Onwaso to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Engineer Sam Chinedu Onwaso. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on a bill for an act to establish the Federal University of Agriculture, Oba Ofemili, in Anambra State. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also want to correct the spelling on Oba Ofemili. It's A-W-B-A. A-W-B-A.
Spelling correction noted. Second, any seconder? We can't hear you.
Amaya Federal Constituency of Adamawa State, I rise to second the motion, ably moved by honorable colleague. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish Federal University of Agriculture of Ofemili, Anambra State, and for related matters, second reading.
The 17th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria. Hold on. Sorry, I think I was reading the wrong one. Yeah. An act to establish the Nigeria's Food Safety and Hygiene Surveillance Corps with a function, among others, to regulate, supervise, and oversee food safety and hygiene practices in markets, eating places, training, issue national license to persons participating in raw cooked food handling businesses in order to avoid food and water contamination and mishandling, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Aminu Ashiru Mani. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 17th March 2020, and I invite Honorable Mani to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Aminu Ashiru Mani is my name, representing Bindawamani. Mr. Speaker, I am from Katsina State, Dogachi of Katsina, Zanna Hausa, and Barde Mubi. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move for the bill of an act to establish the Nigerian Food Safety and Hygiene Surveillance Corps with the function, among others, to regulate, supervise, overseas food safety and hygiene practices in market, eating places, training, issuance license to persons participating in raw food, handling businesses in order to avoid food and water contamination and mishandling for the related matters, SB 813. And I so move this. Thank you.
Honorable Cornelius Naji. Please second. Cornelius.
Thank you, Your Right Honorable Speaker. I remain Prince Cornelius Naj. I represent Enugu's and issues of federal constituency, Mr. Speaker, from Enugu State. I rise to second the motion, every my brother, I so second.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Food Safety and Hygiene Surveillance Corps with the function, among others, to regulate, supervise, and oversee food safety and hygiene practices in markets, eating places, training, issue national license to persons participating in raw, cooked food, handling businesses in order to avoid food and water contamination and mishandling, and for later matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Healthcare Services. The 18th order of the day is commencement of debate on general principle of a bill for an act to provide the legal framework for the establishment of the Federal Medical Center, Fufu, Kwara State, to provide for the manner of running the hospital, including establishment, board of management, chief medical director, and other staff, and to provide for discipline of staff and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Cook Olododo. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 27 November 2019, and I invite Honorable Olododo to move that the bill be read a second time. He's not around.
Olododo is not on the floor. I move that the constitution of the bill be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move.
Step down. Next one is Honorable Ajibola Muraino's bill. The 19th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide the legal framework for the establishment of the Federal Medical Center, Igbora, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Muraino S. Ajibola. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 26th of September 2019, and I invited Honorable Ajibola to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, our Right Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I am Dr. Honorable Ajibola Muraina. I represent Ibarapa Central, Ibarapa North Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm from Oyo State. I rise to move, Mr. Speaker, for the second reading of the bill for an act to provide for the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Igbora, and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, my right honorable colleagues, I most humbly move.
Is Honorable Debumi here? Honorable Abbas? Honorable Tolu Shadipe? Honorable Stanley? All the Oyo members are not here. Honorable Mani, your neighbor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I still remain Aminu Ashurmani, member representing Bindawamani. Mr. Speaker, I am from Kasan State. I rise to second that the bill should be read for the second time, and I so second. Thank you.
It's an establishment bill, straightforward. We'll put the question. Honorable members, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Let's have it. Clerk, this is really long title.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for the legal framework to establish the Federal Medical Center, Igbora, and for later matters. Second reading.
The bill referred to Committee on Health Institutions. The 20th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to alter Section 308 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amendment to restrict legal proceedings against the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, and the Chief Justice of the State High Courts and Federal Capital Territory, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Igariwe Enwo. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 4th March 2020, and I invite Honorable Enwo to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My very respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Igariwe Iduma Enwo. I represent Afipo North, Afipo South Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, with respect, I rise to move that a bill for an act to alter Section 308 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to restrict legal proceedings against the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Courts, and the Chief Justice of the State High Courts and Federal Capital Territory. Be read a second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
We'll take a second down, then we'll take the point of order. Okay, I'll speak again second.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I am Mohammed Omar Biao. I represent both the good, the bad, and the worst people of Bautin and Kayama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I come from Kwara State. I stand to second the motion ably being moved by my honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, respectively, I so second.
Before we put Honorable Fake, what's your point about that? Yeah, okay. No, you must take it. What's your point about it? You must take that point about it. It's okay, don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry. It's all right, don't worry. Is there anybody that wants to speak against the bill? Who? Honorable Johnson, you want to speak against this bill? Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And my respected colleagues, I am Honorable Johnson Egwahido Oguma. I represent all the people of Etako Federal Constituency. I'm from Edo State. With due respect to the sponsor of this bill, I have a reservation for this bill, Mr. Speaker. This bill tends to give immunity to judges, the Supreme Court justice, and all the justices in Supreme Court, in fact, all judges, even to the state and the Federal Capital Territory. And the section of the Constitution, which is 308, that they want to alter, gives immunity to President and the Vice President, Governor, and the Deputy Governor. But, Mr. Speaker, for judges who have power to take life and spare life, to be given immunity against both civil and criminal matters, it therefore means that we are surrendering our lives to somebody that is infallible. Only God alone is infallible. And only God alone can use such a power without any fault. But for a human being that is already playing a role of God, with the power given to them in the Constitution to take life and to spare life, to now have immunity against civil cases or criminal cases, it therefore means that all of us are in danger. Because the only thing that will restrict them to behave, to know that they are representing God wherever they are presiding, is that immunity that they do not have. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, my wife is on the bench too. Even as I'm speaking, my wife is on the bench. But I feel that we cannot grant immunity to people with power to take life and to spare life. So that is just my own submission for this bill. I respect the promoter of this bill, but we need to look into this matter very critically. Giving them immunity, we will be surrendering everything that is moral and justiciable to the people that already have power to kill and to spare life. That is my submission, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, just to quickly correct you, I mean, the bill in front of me is not for judges of high courts. Or it says the chief justices of the high courts, not for all the judges, just so that we're guided. Who else wanted to? Honorable Avanta, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Uzaman Kim Abanta, a Marara boy. What I'm trying to say, Mr. Speaker, is yes, there are merits in saying protect the presiding officers. And I may ask, what is the difference between the presiding officer and the other judges? Same function, but just that one.
The difference between presiding officer and?
There are merits in the bill to protect presiding officers. Then I went forth to say there's a thin line between the presiding officers of the court and the ordinary judges. I'm inclined to agree that to avoid distraction, unnecessary harassment, we should have that. However, I'm also persuaded to say that we should, at the committee, look at this in a manner way that all manner of those who sit are protected. For example, let me draw inference from the NDDC thing we just finished. A mere accusing finger on someone is not enough to say start proceedings. It could store a lot of things. But we should be careful in drafting it. They put a valve not to be an opportunity to do impunity. I share the argument of the last one who opposed. But in the overall, gain more if we are let that be. But also put a valve that will check them so that it doesn't become an abuse. So what we intend to cure, we do not add. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the argument is that there's a very delicate balance that we have to strike. Whilst members who support the bill, we have to find a way to make sure that in solving a problem, we don't create another problem. So it's going to be in the fine-tuning and the language that finally comes out of the committee, and I quite agree with you. So just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Honorable Igariwe, do you want to, since we didn't allow you to lead the debate, we only took those who were speaking against. Honorable Igariwe.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, this is a bill which I conceived in the spirit of the Constitution. We have three arms. The executive is enjoying immunity under Section 308. The president and his vice, the governor and his vice. The major argument for immunity is to avoid distraction. That is the major argument people give. Why the president and his deputy or the governor and his deputy should enjoy immunity. But I even think that if there is an arm that should enjoy immunity most, it is the judiciary. We all know how important the judiciary is, especially in the interpretation of everything that concerns us. And that is why I think that if there is an arm that should enjoy lack of that distraction, it is the judiciary. So that is why I think that in law we say that equality is equity. If the executive is enjoying it, I don't see why the legislature shouldn't enjoy it. I don't see why the judiciary shouldn't also enjoy it. That is the basis of my argument. We think that what is good for the executive should also be good for the judiciary and the legislature. If for any reason we decide to take out the immunity clause from our constitution, then the executive shouldn't enjoy it, the legislature shouldn't enjoy it, the judiciary also shouldn't enjoy it. But so far as the principle of immunity is there under Section 308, I think it's just fair that all the arms should enjoy it. Our constitution says all the three arms are equal and coordinate in function. If we truly mean it, then why should it just be the executive that should enjoy it? I think we all saw what happened with our Supreme Court judges. Justice is one thing that must be dispensed without fear. And what this bill seeks to do is to make sure that no judge is sitting and is afraid that anybody is coming to arrest him and try him for any civil or criminal action. In law, we say that time does not run against crime. The intention of this bill is that if any judge of of the Supreme Court or the Justice of the Supreme Court or the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court, if he commits any offense, that offense should endure until he leaves office and he can be prosecuted for that offense. It's the same thing that is going for the president or the governors of the state. Nobody is saying that they should go scot-free if they commit offenses. But while they are in office, they should enjoy that serenity of office. They should enjoy that peace of mind that they are actually going to dispense justice without fear or favor. That's the sense of the bill, Mr. Speaker, and I will urge my colleagues to look at it. It does appear that the scale is weighing so much against the judiciary if we don't allow them, especially at that top echelon, to act without fear of whether it is DSS or police that is coming to arrest them in the night and accuse them of one thing or the other. We've all seen what happened not too long ago when judges could be arrested in the night on one charge or the other. So this is just to bring stability to our democracy. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. I think what Honorable Gary is saying is that we have to balance justice and the equality of government, principle of equality of the three arms of government. If we say the judiciary should not have protection or immunity, then we have no moral grounds to bring, which I think we did some months ago. We brought a bill for immunity for the heads of the legislative arm of government. So we cannot, I don't think we should be bringing for us and denying for the judiciary. And again, let me note what I said earlier. It's not for judges, even though Honorable Abonta's point is very fair. It's not for judges, it's for the heads of that arm of government, not for the judges. Honorable Toby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. I think, my name is Toby Okechukwu. I represent an area of Goji River Federal Constituency from Enugu State. Mr. Speaker, in a developing country where we have very strong men and not strong institutions, where precedents of practice may be untoward with regard to respecting conduct precedents, it is very, very important to err on the side of protection of people who could be vulnerable. And from all indications, Mr. Speaker, the judiciary, in spite of enormous powers they have, appear to be fairly vulnerable. Vulnerable from political interference, vulnerable from possible abuse of office. Mr. Speaker, I would think that in the spirit of equal arms of government, it will be prudent on our part, if not for all the judges, the heads of the judiciary, they should be able to dispense justice without fear or favor, without undue influence from any political actor. Mr. Speaker, there is nothing, even the president's immunity or the governor's immunity is not absolute. Mr. Speaker, there are exceptions, and are subject in all circumstances to the will of Parliament. They can be impeached. They can be removed, even for purposes of misconduct. So if there is anything grievous that the presiding judge has done, we can have recourse to ways of removal, which can be exercised by Parliament. That's the essence of checks and balances. So I do not think that it would be subject to a lot of abuse, because we can have a recourse to the possibility of Parliament doing the needful. So, but I believe, like Honorable Bonta said, we will need to retool it or tune it a little bit and have some exceptions and some valves for the protection of the Republic. Thank you very much.
What's your order?
Permit me, Mr. Speaker, to come under 12, Rule 4.1, and combine it with, well, I don't know the version Mr. Speaker will be taking, 61, page 61, under 12, Rule 4, sub 1, in conjunction with Rule 13, 1, sub 2. On page 79 and 60, depending on 61, depending on the version and edition you are using, Mr. Speaker. I'm on the 9th edition, sir. Page 61, that's where it contains 12.4. I'm coming to combine and double barrel effect of order 12 with 4 and order 13 to 1. I'm also asking Mr. Speaker, among what I'm asking for, to revisit his ruling. If you permit me to read, Mr. Speaker, order 12.4 says, on the order for the second reading of a bill being read, a motion may be made that the bill be now read for the second time. It went on to answer the question, and if the Speaker, at the end of it, shall put a question, and if the affirmative, the second time will be read. Now, juxtapose this, Mr. Speaker, with order 13, which says, for alteration of constitution, upon the debate, the Speaker shall transfer. Mr. Speaker, for the purpose of this argument, this kind of alteration is what, after the argument, transfer to the committee, standing ad hoc committees, ad hoc committee on constitutional amendment, so that the public will be able to look at it. This one fits into this. I therefore urge you to revisit and review administratively what was done by you the last sitting, and look at that this one fits into the drafters of this. If you read the two side by side, and at the end of this debate, take this thing to the committee or other committee so that we'll be able to do the needful and gain more insight. Otherwise will mean shutting down robust whatever I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Abonta, I'm not quite sure where you're coming from, but wherever you're coming from, I totally disagree with you. My ruling yesterday is in order, I will refer you to Order 13, Rule 2, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 2. During the debate on alteration to the Constitution, in other words, there shall be a debate. Correct? There shall be a debate. That was the issue yesterday. Whether we needed to debate or just send something to the committee. And then Order 13, Rule 1, Sub-Rule 2, completely addresses that issue. There was a debate yesterday. The point of order was that there was no, you said by tradition, that you just refer to the committee. That's what you said. So my order remains, you are overruled. So I think, so that we move along, please, honorable colleagues, let's apply the principle, as an age-long principle, that the law should not just be used as a sword, but also as a shield. In this case, what he's trying to do is to use the law, that is the Constitution, as a shield for judges, for protection. I'll put a question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say no. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to alter Section 308 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to restrict legal proceedings against the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, and the Chief Justice of the State High Courts and the Federal Capital Territory, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Special Ad Hoc Committee on Review of the Constitution. The 21st order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal College of Fishery and Aquaculture, Tela, Taraba State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Abdulsalam Gambo Mubarak. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read for the first time on Tuesday, 2nd July 2020, and now invite Honorable Mubarak to move that the bill be read a second time.
Information. Mr. Speaker, I move to step down consideration of item number 21 because it has conflicted with item number 10, which has already been taken. So we are stepping it down for consolidation. So I so move.
We'll step down. Honorable Chairman, Business and Rules, you actually listed about 40 items for debate on today's order paper? About 40? Okay. Honorable colleagues, so sorry about that. It's under COVID rules, we are meant to limit our time in an enclosed, air-conditioned place. We've been here now since 11 o'clock, and it's about 3 o'clock. Almost about 51 items on the order paper. I guess it's because we're closing today. So those of you who have items on the order paper, please, you have to bear with us. We're only on number 21. Each one is taken, and we're not even debating. We're just reading the long title and putting the question, and yet it's taking this long. So we're going to have to step down these matters and go to the consideration of reports, the committee of whole. And I apologize once again. It's not our practice that we have 51 items even in a regular day. We're not doing justice to a lot of these matters because we're not even debating them the way they should be debated. So we're just rushing through them. So anything worth doing is worth doing well. Honorable Fulata, Chairman, Business and Rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa, Krikasama, Wilfred Concern, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, I move that all items on the order paper, save item number 22, 23, and consideration of reports, be stepped down by the leave of the House. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second. Chief Whip, can you please second that we step down there?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marte Monguno, Gaza Federal Constituency of Borno State. I second the motion as ably moved by the Chairman, Rules and Business.
So, honorable colleagues, we'll go to number 22, 23, and number 24. And that will be it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Consideration of outstanding bills from President Assembly, Federal Medical Center, Lokoja, Federal Medical Center, Makudi, Federal Medical Center, Unguru, Federal Medical Center, Oweri, Federal Medical Center, Oo, Federal Medical Center, Umuahia, Federal Medical Center, Yenogua, Federal Medical Center, Abakaliki, Federal Council for Social Work, National Water Resource Bill 2020, HB 921, National Institute of Credit Administration Establishment Bill 2020, HB 1018. House note that the aforementioned bills were passed by the Presiding Assembly and forwarded to the Senate for concurrence, for which no concurrence was made, and or forwarded to the President for assent, but for which assent or withholding thereof was not communicated before the end of the tenure of the last Assembly. Aware that the bills were regazetted as House Bills 268 269, 270, 271, 272, 273, 274, 655, 275, and 921, respectively, are read the first time. Commit the bills to the Committee of the Whole for consideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Okay, leader.
Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Gideon Gwani. I come from Kaduna State. I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Abubakar Hassan Fulata. I so second.
Okay, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. 23rd order of the day is a motion on extension of time for the ad hoc committee on spent funds to complete its assignment pursuant to Order 17, Rule 3, Sub-Rule G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Fulata. Honorable Fulata is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Fulata. I represent Berniwa Krika Sama, Guri Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Extension of time for ad hoc committee on unspent funds pursuant to Order 17, Rule 3G of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives. Note that the committee notes that on 10th December 2019, a motion on the need to refund unspent budget funds was debated, resolved, and constituted an ad hoc committee to investigate the amount of unspent constituency project funds not remitted in the last 10 years and identify the defaulting agencies and report back within 8 years. Within 8 weeks. The time has since expired. This committee has laid an ad hoc, an interim report, and wish to request that it be given 6 weeks within which to conclude its assignment. And the prayer is that the House do resolve to extend the time of the committee by 6 weeks to enable it to conclude the assignment and report back for further legislative action. I so move.
Any seconder, please. Honorable Maki.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I'm Abubakar Maki Eldeman. I represent Maramudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. I'm from Jigawa State. I second the motion heavily moved by my senior colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 24th order of the day is a motion on urgent need to stop incessant armed attacks in southern Kaduna communities and local government areas of Kaduna State, standing in the name of Honorable Gideon Gwani. Honorable Gwani is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Honorable Gideon Gwani. I come from Kaduna State and I represent Kaura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the urgent need to stop incessant armed attacks in southern Kaduna communities and local government areas of Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that several communities across southern Kaduna have come under severe attacks by armed militia, which has left behind serious humanitarian crisis over thousands of internally displaced persons. Also note that in the last couple of months, most communities in southern Kaduna local government areas cannot go to farm as the invaders have taken over most of the villages and communities. Mr. Speaker, the House also concerned that the attacks have continued despite a 24 hours curfew imposed in most of the local government areas of southern Kaduna for several weeks now. The House also is concerned by the unfortunate armed attacks on Kukumdaji communities in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State on the night of Sunday 19 July 2020. Alarmed that no fewer than 19 persons were killed in the attack by gunmen who were heavily armed with sophisticated weapons. The House is also disturbed that yet to be an unidentified gunmen had launched the attack on the village around 10:30 p.m. on Sunday night. Also disturbed that over 30 persons who escaped by the whiskers sustained various degrees of injury. The House is also worried that the attackers, who are heavily armed with rifles and other dangerous weapons, descended on the villagers and killed them in cold blood after attending a wedding party in one of the houses in the community. Also worried that about 32 other people who sustained various degrees of injury were rushed to the hospitals, but unfortunately, 2 of them died in the hospital. Further worried that some of the villagers are still missing, as villagers are in fear to search deep into the bush for their loved ones, as security agents have not been deployed to the community. The House also recognizes that the combined effect of Section 4, subsection 1, Section 2, and Section 2A, 2B, and 2C of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, which guarantees that the Federal Republic of Nigeria shall be a state based on the principles of democracy and social justice. It is hereby accordingly declared that A, sovereignty belongs to the people of Nigeria, from whom government, through the Constitution, derives all its powers and authority. B, the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. And C, the participation by the people of their government shall be ensured in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. Now the House do resolves the prayer. Call on the Inspector General of Police to urgently intervene and direct adequate deployment of security personnel in the affected communities for the protection of lives and property. Fish out the perpetrators and their sponsors and bring them to justice. 2, urge the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to intervene and provide social and material support to the victims of the attack and displaced villagers in the communities, and return IDPs to their ancestral lands and resettle them. 3, also urge the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to the affected communities. Lastly, mandate the Committee on Police Affairs, Disaster Management and Preparedness to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I beg to move.
Honorable Abonta wants to second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Having considered the time and the very lengthy motion as prayed, I support and pray you carry same, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The 25th order of the day is a motion on urgent need to reconstruct the 32-year-old collapsed Elebele Bridge and overhaul of basic infrastructure in Bayelsa State, standing in the name of Honorable Obua, Fred, and 5 others. Honorable Obua is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues.
Oh, we stepped it down? Oh, okay, but he has started. Let him finish. Please finish your...
Honorable colleagues, my name is Fred Obua, representing the good people of Ogdia Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Before me is a motion about the urgent need to reconstruct the 32-year-old collapsed Elebele Bridge and overhaul of basic infrastructure in Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, the House...
Yeah, let's just... You've read the title. Let's go to the prayers.
The mandate the NDDC to urgently intervene and ensure emergency construction of modern concrete bridge as replacement for the collapsed bridge. 2, mandate the Committee on NDDC to effect compliance. I so move.
Who's seconding? Honorable Deputy Whip.
I represent the good people of Isukwatu Muno Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the motion as heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Honorable Fred, you are done? Yeah, very good. Very, very good motion. Those in support, please say aye. Wait, I haven't recognized you. Eh? Okay, what's your amendment?
2020 budget of NDDs for them to implement. Asking them now, there's no budget provision, and we're just going to do things, and we've done things, we've seen things. And we ask them to do out of budget. Let it be contained in 2020 budget of NDDC for implementation, sir.
I'm assuming that is what is going to happen without saying it specifically, because they cannot spend extra budgetary. So, but to be sure, for emphasis, that it be in the 2020 budget that they can't find it in the 2019 budget. Any seconder? Fred? No, to the amendment,
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Agbedi Yetiemina Frederick is my name. I represent Sakbama Krema Federal Constituency. Izonkame, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion for amendment as moved by Honorable Abonta. So second.
Okay. Those in support of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Those in support of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, I'm pleased to announce the appointment of Dr. Yahaya Danzare as the new Deputy Clerk Legislative of the House, whose appointment took effect immediately. He's here with us today. He's been here with us throughout the proceedings. The new Deputy Clerk. Dr. Yahya Danzare has worked in the finance department, the legal services department, and the public affairs department before coming to the House of Representatives. You are welcome to the House, and congratulations. Honorable colleagues, it is anticipated that the work of the Petroleum Industry Bill will start even as we proceed on our long recess. We have set up an ad hoc committee, but that ad hoc committee is taking, the members are taken from the standing committees. There are 4 standing committees that ordinarily would work on the PIB, but the membership and the numbers will be too unwieldy, and we have selected an ad hoc committee formed from the standing committees of petroleum downstream, upstream, local content, and gas. The chairman and deputy chairman of the 4 committees are automatic members. The committee will be chaired by, as is the practice, by the chief whip of the House, which has always been the practice. And the membership of the committee is as follows: Honorable Mani Soro Mansuru, Honorable Bello Kauje, Honorable Ephraim Muze, Honorable Adebanjo Olufemi, Honorable Prince Cornelius Naji, Honorable Cook Olododo, Honorable Chinedu Nwago, Honorable Sejus, Honorable James Faleke will also be representing because of the finance part of the PIB. Honorable Adiogun, Honorable Tijani Kayode Ishmael, Honorable Mela Victor, Honorable Onuigbo Samuel, Honorable Priye Oseke, Honorable Stanley Olajide, Honorable Wumi Ogulola, Honorable Abdul Kadir Abdullahi, that's Honorable Ningi, Honorable Victor Nwokolo, Honorable Idris Kabir, Honorable Musa Serikiada, of course, Chairman Petroleum Upstream, Honorable Nicholas Mutu, Honorable Abdullahi Gaya, Chairman Downstream, Honorable Lego, Chairman Local Content, Honorable Nasir Dara, Honorable Ismaila Suleiman, Honorable Muhammad Ali Wudil, Honorable Shehu Honorable Shehu Seraki, Honorable Abubakar Fulata, Honorable Nasiru Ali Ahmed, Honorable Jafar,